Yay Media Group.
It was Halloween and I am in full garb because we did Halloween to the nines, and I'm in full vampire makeup. 5 o'clock on, I'm in full garb and they're Teri, the phone's for you. And I'm like, oh man, I'm scaring the crap out of the kids. Go in, I'm in my office, full makeup, talking to my agent and manager. And they're like, they want you to get on a red eye tonight to go screen test with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro tomorrow. And I'm like,
oh.
Hey dude, I think the 90s are calling.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Hey Dude, the 90s Called. I am one of your co-hosts, Christine Taylor. And in the other box there is my partner in nostalgia, David Lasher. Hi, David.
Hi, partner.
Hi, partner.
Partner in nostalgia.
How you doing?
Good. We should make t-shirts.
I know. We really should.
Nostalgia partners.
Yeah. Or just like hashtag
nostalgia. Yeah. Speaking of nostalgia.
Yeah.
I can't share too much, but I'm going to tease this phone call that I just got from one Allie Teigel, who is Josh Teigel's sister, the actor who played Buddy Ernst.
Yes.
And Allie is, I don't know how to describe her skills at putting things together, but she's a powerhouse. Mm-hmm. And she had put out a group text to all of us. Would we be interested in some sort of a reunion of the Hey Dude cast and crew and writers back at the Tancaverdi Ranch where we filmed the show?
Where it all began.
And when she just told me what she's trying to put together, all I can say is, and I don't want to like give stuff away, because if she pulls this off, it will be epic. I mean, it'll be all those YouTube videos, including Joe Torres and the sets and where are the cast, all this stuff all in one, and fans of the show. But she has a business plan that she wants to present.
Oh my God. Well, no wonder she called you and not me, because that's where you lose me. The minute your business plan, crunching numbers, how it's all going to work.
We'll call Christine when it's on a date to show up.
I just get the information of you tell me where to be and I'll be there.
I mean, I will say.
That's amazing. Yes, I know. Well, it is fun because it did get put out there in a group chat in a much more casual way, but it does sound like now it's ballooning into something more, which is, ooh.
She's enmeshed in the business community of Tucson, and she's bringing in all kinds of sponsors. I don't know. Let's see what she has. But I told her, we all said we would love it. And we can record a podcast from there with everybody. It'd be so cool.
Sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Allie, by the way, and maybe I can find a picture. I have a picture somewhere. It might even be in that album that I made for everyone. Allie is Josh Teigel. You said it. Josh's younger sister.
Right.
But again, as we always joke, Josh was not that much younger than us when we were doing the show. He was only like 3 or 4 years younger than us. He just looked littler and hadn't gone through puberty yet. And so, so Allie is like our peer now. She's a few years younger than Josh, but we all feel like peers. But Allie, when we did 90s Con together a couple years ago, was like running the show for us just purely because she enjoyed it so much. But she grew up just loving Hey Dude because her big brother was on the show.
Right.
And she just I have pictures of her just like hugging me and like hugging my leg because she was like this big. And now she's just like you said, a powerhouse. So shout out to Allie who's listening. I know she's listening.
Yes, we're all rooting for you.
Oh, that's so exciting. So good. Exciting things happening.
Yes, this would be fun. But
much fun.
Tell us about who we are going to talk to.
Well, we have a really great guest who I've known forever and ever. And, this is, we're starting to sound like broken records because we've been around that long. Because this is a 90s podcast.
It's nice that we have connections to our guests like this, They open up to another level.
And it's just so lovely when people are just so open to sharing their stories. So
Yeah.
Teri Polo, who Ben has done all of the Meet the Parents movies with, and they're just about to start filming the fourth Meet the Parents movie.
Say the title. I love it.
Is Focker-in-law. Right?
I love it.
I'm not spilling the beans. That's already been out there in the press.
Yeah.
But it's Terry's in New York, and they're getting ready. They're literally getting ready by the time this podcast is airing, they'll be in production. And but I just thought it'd be so great to talk to her just about her whole experience of being cast in that, but also she's done a lot of really other like cool, iconic kind of 90s work.
Yeah.
Been a working actress from a very young age. So I cannot wait to talk to her. Let's bring in Teri Polo, everyone. I want to hear, though, because your story, I don't want to jump too far ahead because I really want to hear how you ended up in this business and also how you just ended up in LA, because you're a Delaware girl, right? Because I'm a Pennsylvania girl, and a lot of my family on my mom's side lived in Delaware. And it's just like, I love hearing the stories of how we, not being full coastal people, ended up in LA. So tell us a little bit of the backstory of it, and then we'll fast forward to all the fun 90s stuff.
Well, isn't it kind of a saying that I don't know anybody who's originally from LA? It always seems
so
to be
true.
like this, people moving,
Nobody's from LA, and if they are, I don't trust them. That was my rule.
Yeah, and a lot of people there's like been a mass exodus for
Lately.
a couple of years now. I did too. Yeah. Well, let's see. The cliff notes are: I grew up in Dover, Delaware, and I was a dancer from the age of 6, and then I was involved in theater in a high school, and it's so absurd. I won this local modeling contest, which is just hilarious. And, small town, big fish in a small town, small pond, small, right? Big fish in a small pond.
Yes. Big fish, small pond.
Small pond and a big fish. That's the way
Dover,
my brain
Delaware
goes.
was not like, the hot button ticket. Let's put it that way.
It's a small pond.
Nice. Exactly. So I did this, and I got to go to New York City and do this photo shoot and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cool, I can stand there and look pretty and get paid for it. This is kind of fun.
And you were a teenager at this point? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I was 17. So
okay.
In between my junior and senior years of high school, during the summer, I had been, I'd been 17 for a week. I got the blessing of my high school principal, God bless him, and Patlin, and to go to New York. So I dropped out of high school. Now, I had been a dancer at School of American Ballet when I was 13 by myself. See, far different time. Of course, this was in the 80s. And so between junior and senior years of high school, I dropped out. I came in the summer. I got into Elite Petite and model management.
Petite.
Well, because
you were not 6 feet tall, right?
Oh my God. They had a separate division for the
Elite
shorter
Petite.
Models.
Yes. Exactly. There was Elite, which was, and then
which
there
is
was
Elite, right?
Petite.
Then there was Petite.
And then I started freelancing. I had a commercial, and I started freelancing with this talent agency called FBI.
Oh yes, I remembered them from New York.
Too?
Yes.
Scott Sedita, who is still around these days, which is crazy. Anyway, so I started going out, and I booked a soap opera, and I was going to get my GED, and I never did. So I really regret that. So my kids are getting their education. And yeah, I started working. I was taking classes, acting classes, but then I started working, which was crazy. And then almost 40 years later, boom, Bob's your uncle. Here I am.
I mean, so you actually lived in New York for a period of time. for a chunk.
I lived, here from 1986 until 95.
I
Lived
mean,
here. I loved it. I loved
with
it.
your parents' blessing and with some help and support from them financially, because
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, of
yeah.
course. Yeah. No, I stayed when I stayed here when I was 13 dancing. I stayed with a woman. The School of American Ballet and their feeder school, they vet out all of these people and they do background checks and all of this stuff. And there was a lovely woman, Leslie Lewis, whom had opened up her apartment to me. And I stayed there when I was 13. And so when I moved back, I moved in with her. And of course, my parents supported me for the first year. And when I started working, I moved into my first apartment on 85th between First and York, and started paying my own way, which was extraordinary. I was 18. That's 18.
That's incredible.
Thank God for those soap operas, right? We talked to so many New York actors that supported themselves at first on those shows.
Yeah, the commercials and the soap operas, for sure.
That's exactly it. I found an old commercial of mine from, I want to say 1986.
What was it?
For JCPenney. And myself and three other girls are dancing around on the rooftop, New York City. I remember thinking, I've made it.
This is it, man. This is it. Those commercials, they paid so well. Those commercials paid really well.
Again,
the residuals.
Like I said, back in the 90s, baby, that stuff, our stuff, boy, it paid so well. I wouldn't want to be an actor starting out these days, boy. You'd still have to be bussing tables and man, couldn't do it.
Doing
I'm old.
juggling multiple jobs. Yes, for sure.
Glad I'm old. Glad I'm, on my last legs, baby.
Oh, come on. No, you're just getting going.
And by the way, your hair is amazing.
What? Why, thank you.
Yeah,
I just got it done for this movie that I'm shooting with Kristen's
husband. Heard about this movie. There's been a little talk of this movie in the world.
That's exciting. Another Focker.
Crazy.
Crazy.
They came out with the name. It's called Focker-in-Law, which is hilarious. And
how good is that? It's too good.
It's extraordinary. It's just extraordinary.
I want to segue because I was talking about how gorgeous your hair is. And now here's what I got to do when you texted me saying, like, I just got the call from my daughter. Can we, push 15 minutes before we started? And I was so happy you did, because I treated myself, and you're going to really enjoy this, to a rewatch of Mystery Date.
Oh, dear.
A movie you did.
Why would you do that?
Because I like to be prepared for some good 90s material to talk about when we've got a great 90s guest who got started in the 90s. This is a movie that, by the way.
I guess that was the 90s, wasn't it?
What year was that? You're 91? It was early 90s. And your hair, first of all, you have so much curly hair.
It was really close to the 80s. So the hair was still kind of big, but the bangs weren't quite as big. The bangs were just a little bit lower. But yeah, it was big and curly. They crimped it every single day. I'm surprised that I still had hair.
Crazy.
I know. I was like, I don't remember Teri ever having hair that curly, but that makes sense that they've just styled you that way every day. But that was like an young Ethan Hawke, like just after Dead Poets Society, like right around that time.
Dead Poets Society. Yeah. Wow. He had just come off of that, it being released, and so that was kind of how the movie got financed, so to speak, because it was Ethan Hawke, man, and this was going to be his first, solo leading man kind of. I'm the big guy in the movie, and I kind of felt badly because it really didn't take off as much, I think, as the studio had hoped it would. Right. But it was 1 week of shooting days and then three or not three, 11 weeks of shooting nights.
All nights.
Wow.
Every night. We were shooting from like 5 p.m. until 6 a.m. We're going back when everybody's going to work, the sun's coming up, and it's my stinking nighttime. So I was on the terrace drinking a glass of wine before I went to bed. Hey, have a good day at work.
That's my nighttime. Exactly.
What is wrong
As the
with
sun
her?
is rising. But some really great people in that. Fisher
B.D.
Stevens was in
Wong,
it.
Brian
B.D.
McNamara.
Wong.
Fisher
Yeah,
Stevens. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so broad.
It was fun.
And it's literally, I was thinking that, because Ethan, I don't think since that movie, and maybe like you said, because it wasn't really like, didn't do as well. Because I think he probably
Successful.
soon after went on to Reality Bites with like he went into a different realm, but it was really him doing like leading man, but in it was pretty broad comedy, but also like the caper element to it, and but it was a little
far-fetched.
It's far-fetched, but it reminded me a bit of when I was watching it of like Adventures in Babysitting, which we all like, where it's like the wholesome people get caught up in with the criminals. And it's like these two different storylines going on, but of course they're going to end up together and of course they're going to be okay. So it sort of felt like a carryover of those sort of 80s movies, I feel like. But the story I remember around this movie was that I moved to LA in 1991 and with a roommate, and we had like just audition after audition, and we had this little like closet under. David, you were at that apartment, like with Martha, when I lived with Martha in West Hollywood.
Yes, on
and
Harper.
It was this, and it was this apartment that it was a duplex, and under the staircase, there was like a little like closet where I think it might have been like a mini bar or something in there, but it's just where we shoved all of our like scripts and sides and extra headshots and everything. And it was literally like piles of sides of jobs we had auditioned for that we didn't get. And lying at the top, I mean, I'm not kidding, for like at least a year and a half was the script of Mystery Date that my roommate, I didn't audition for it, but my roommate had auditioned for it. And our running joke was always like, the movie had already come out, but the joke was always like, hey, Martha, did you get any feedback on Mystery Date? Like, have you heard anything? Do you think they're going to bring you back on Mystery Date? It just became like our running joke in our life that it was like, I was like, why are you keeping the script? The movie came out. You don't need to keep it.
You two must have read for a lot of the same roles. The two of you and maybe Heather Graham.
We did, and Heather Graham, which back in the day, people thought I looked a lot alike, but we did. But I wasn't aware of it. I don't know if you ever were, but I wasn't aware. I was I was like, oh, look, this audition. And I didn't even think about it. It just kind of.
Yeah. And it's also like, was not the time where you would really like see too many people like in the room, like the way with commercials, you go into the room and see so many people, but I don't even know if I've talked about this before, but I did audition for Meet the Parents. Like it was right when Ben and I like met and started dating.
Oh my God. What?
Yes. So I've saved the story for this. But
that would have been a trip. Oh my God.
I wondered if that was going to come up.
I have to bring it up because, by the way, that's my favorite thing to talk about. And David too, when we have guests on that we all knew from back in the day, we all love talking to each other about like what job I auditioned for, they auditioned for, that I got, that they got. It's just it's like, so yeah, with Meet the Parents, Ben and I had just gotten, like we'd been dating and we're almost getting engaged. Like we hadn't gotten engaged yet, but we had been together for like 6 months.
I have to tell you the story. I mean, I'm sure you know it. I didn't know that you had auditioned for it until after I'd gotten it. But so it was October 31st. It was Halloween, and I am in full garb because we did Halloween to the nines, and I'm in full vampire makeup. I'm in a coffin on the front step, lying there like dead with a bowl of candy on me. And every time one of the kids would come up, I would wake up and slap out of him. So fun. And and I had been put on tape. This was Sunday, October 31st, 1999. And I had gotten put on tape on that Friday. And the whole thing was, if you're put on tape and you don't go in the room with someone, you never get the job. So it's kind of like, no, okay, well, here, I'll go and do this. And then I didn't even think about it.
Right.
Yeah. And so at 5 o'clock I'm in full garb, and they're, Teri, the phone's for you. And I'm like, oh man, I'm scaring the crap out of the kids. Go in, I'm in my office, full makeup, talking to my agent and manager. And they're like, they want you to get on a red eye tonight to go screen test with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro tomorrow. And I'm like,
oh,
it was the first time in my life I'd ever been speechless. And so I'm scrambling to get everything ready to get to the airport, and they're scrambling to get the deal, written out and whatever. And I'm in the airport, and they're like, do not get on that plane until we tell you that you can, because the deal isn't done yet. And I'm like, and so finally they called me and said, you can get on the plane. Okay, so I get on the plane. I arrive at 6 a.m. in the morning on a Monday. I get to the hotel. I get maybe 2 hours of sleep. I've got to get up. And mind you, they were having a table read first. They were having a table read with the entire cast, everybody that had been cast, and Bob and Ben and everybody. And then there's me. I don't have the job yet. I'm going to be screen testing later on in the daytime, but you got to sit here and read with us. Just like, oh
my God, I don't think I knew that.
And so then later on, I think I went back to my room, and then I went in and I screen tested with Ben first, and then with Bob. The next day, or is it later that day? I don't remember. They wanted me to go into rehearsals. I'm like, okay. I rehearsed on definitely Tuesday, because were sending the tape back to LA, where I had just flown from to go to New York to be put on tape to fly back to LA to get the studio's approval.
Oh my
so
God.
I'm rehearsing with Ben on Tuesday. I was rehearsing on Wednesday, and they're like, we don't have an answer yet. We don't have an answer yet. And that was when Bob told me that you had auditioned for it, Christine. And I was just like, sorry, Ben. I felt so.
Oh my God.
And that's when he told me, I got to be honest, he'll probably say this isn't true.
Yeah.
But I knew that you were going to be proposed to that weekend before they were going to start shooting, because he said he was going to go back the weekend before we started, that coming up weekend. And I can't remember whether he said he was going to put flowers and petals all over the ground or something like that. I don't remember, but he was going to propose to you.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing.
Yes.
So I never paralleled the movie.
Wait, Ben Stiller is telling his movie wife that he's about to propose to his future wife in real life. This is too much. This is so cool.
Ben has talked about this a lot. I never knew that he told you that either. I mean, obviously you guys had to know because you were in rehearsals and he was flying back home for the weekend, which I didn't know about. And I remember him calling me from the car. He got my friends to take me out to a movie for like 3 hours while he got the place ready, the house ready. And so surprised me. And so I called him on the way home from the movie and said, how was rehearsal with everybody? Like, what's Robert De Niro like? What's like, do you feel intimidated? Like all of it, the whole thing. And he was like, oh, it went well. It went good.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And I was pulling in, I had him like on the speakerphone in my car. And I remember pulling in and I said, oh, wait, hold on. My garage door is not opening. Hold on. Like, I'll call you right back when I get inside. And because my garage door wasn't working. And I thought that's so weird. Like the battery must have died. And I got out of the car and opened the gate to to my little house. And the whole pathway was lit with candles and flowers. And the front door was open and there was music. And there was Ben sitting in the house. And so it was like the biggest surprise. Like because I really pride myself on like being pretty privy to like people planning something for me. Like I feel like I'm very perceptive.
You can never surprise me.
Missed this completely.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow, it was a full surprise with all the romance of the candles and all that. Oh, good for him.
Oh, it was so great. And I love, it's so great that you knew. And here's what's the fun story around like, because I auditioned for it much earlier on. Like it was, you know, it was sort of like an early version of like, and we even talked about it. It was like, is this even like something we should consider doing? Like, is this too weird? And Ben was like, you know, like, let's, he goes, you're definitely right for the part. And it would be like, it would be so fun to do. And we were in that like mode. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'll audition. And I think and I felt like I like did well and all of it. And it was really like Jay who like just, I think he just didn't feel like it was totally right. Like it just wasn't. And it was fun. It was, of course, it was that thing of like, okay, well, it's like we are dating and there is some like real life stuff going on. There are sparks and there's chemistry and all of those things. But like what Jay imagined and obviously like casting Blythe and you know what I mean? Like he envisioned this family. And as much as you and I are like in the same world, we're different too. Like you're a different actor too. And so I feel like what ended up being the thing that at first was like, oh my God, Jay hates me. And now this is so embarrassing. Literally from the time that but then honestly, I remember Ben saying like, Jay is like, these are some ideas for people he wants to cast. And I remember when he said your name, because I knew you a little bit. I knew you peripherally a little bit through like the Jens and everybody and the Randalls and I was like, oh my God, Teri is I was like, Teri's perfect. Like that was the one where I was like, oh, that I get. Like that I really totally get. Yeah. And like that works for me. So I don't want to say that like
what's so funny is that
I had this sort of inner stamp of approval for you.
Oh, thanks. I love that for me.
Not that anybody was asking, but like I said it to Ben and I just felt like that was so perfect.
Yeah. I was often told that, and on one hand, it made me feel really good that I was told that they had auditioned so many people and so many people and so many people. And here it was. So it's Wednesday and Ben and I were in rehearsals. That was when he told me that he was going to go back and propose to you. And we were in rehearsals and still hadn't heard anything. Ben got up to go because Jay Roach had come into the room. Ben got up and went and talked to him. And they both came walking up and they said, well, congratulations, you got the part. I was like, oh my God. So I continued rehearsing Thursday and Friday. I flew back to LA on Saturday to get all of my stuff, flew back to New York on Sunday, and we started shooting on Monday. So it was this insane whirlwind, number one. And number two, when people had said, you know, well, they auditioned so many people, etc. On one hand, I thought, well, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. On the other hand, it was like, oh, well, I was the last resort.
But also, my God,
we're running out of time here, so...
But also like I have not ever heard of something that extensive where you not only you read, then you screen tested, then you rehearsed for a couple of days and you still didn't know. And for you to hang in there and also just be able to keep because I would imagine at a certain point it would be like, what the hell is going on? Like, what am I doing here? If you're not going to cast
I got to that point.
What am I doing here? Right?
What am I doing? That's exactly it. Was what am I doing? What is happening? And it's not that I was getting angry, but I was getting a little frustrated.
Yes,
but not in a negative, angry way. It was like, well, they just cast me already. I'm trying
I'm
so
doing
hard.
everything. What else can I do?
You thought, oh well, Jay Roach hates me. I'm sorry, but literally after every single audition, that's how I feel. Is the director hated me.
Course.
Oh, I was stupid. Oh, why did I say that? And it's just every single thing, even now.
Of course.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
After that whole intense emotional process of getting the role, flying back and forth, and then you walk on the set right away. What is it like walking on the set with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro and Blythe Danner, and then you're blocking out a scene, and all of a sudden you're
And Owen Wilson.
Oh my God!
You
Yeah,
had
I mean
so
these
much
are like
great stuff,
powerhouses,
Owen.
and you're so amazing in all these movies. But like, what is it like at the beginning? Were you comfortable right away? The process?
No. When not. When I went to do the screen test, I mean, it was in a little room, and I was being put on tape, but it was this little room with Jay and Ben, and then it was Jay and Bob, and that was, that was my screen test, so that it wasn't like this big, studio kind of production sort of thing. And I remember on 3 hours of sleep or 2 hours, whatever the hell it was, I was staying at the oh crap! I've been back there again. I've stayed there twice, and I stayed at the Soho Grand. Is that what it's called? Soho Grand Hotel.
Yes.
That I actually stole a cup, and I had that cup from the bathroom for years, a coffee cup, and then it accidentally broke when I moved from California to the East Coast, back to the East Coast. But so I remember looking at myself in the mirror and saying, "You will never." Hilarious. We will never have this opportunity again. You will never. So you have to leave whatever nerves, whatever anything that you are feeling, you've got to leave it right here in this bathroom and go and, just give it your all. And what's crazy was I really felt like I did, that I had to just block out the fact that I'm sitting opposite Ben Stiller and that I'm sitting opposite Robert De Niro. And acting
Right.
to the best of my abilities. So yeah, I was hugely intimidated during that process. And like Christine had said, Ben and Christine and we had very good mutual friends that we saw each other every once in a while socially out and about. So I kind of felt I felt a little bit more comfortable with Ben, even though I didn't know him really, really well. And by the way, I did, Ben, I don't know if he's ever going to hear this, but I was pretty sure Ben didn't like me for quite a long time.
What?
But it's that same insecurity. It's that same stupid insecurity that we have. I don't, and, but Robert De Niro made me feel so comfortable in the sense that he's a very quiet man. He kind of keeps to himself, which comes across as being very unapproachable, very intimidating. But he actually is this very gentle man. It was crazy, and I think because I was playing his daughter, he kind of opened himself up a little bit to me, where he was softer with me and where he was kind to me, and he was open. And I also thought, again, I'm never going to have this opportunity again, so I am going to get the most out of Robert De Niro that I possibly can. I asked so many questions, and I just kind of siled up to him a little bit, but he was so open and warm that I wasn't necessarily nervous around. I was more nervous around Ben than I was Bob. I got to be honest, because because I felt like I was more of Ben's, and it wasn't professionally. I didn't feel like a peer professionally. I felt like more like a peer because we were kind of close in age. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
That we could relate a little bit more, and that if I was awful, if I effed up, there was going to be, it was, I don't know, I think it's harder to feel from a peer that you're not doing well, or you're not doing a good job, or wow, she really sucked in that, or whatever. For whatever reason, I feel like from a peer, that's harder.
Yeah.
So I was really nervous that and we're acting opposite each other, that he was like, well, this is really hard to act opposite her, Jay.
It's so funny because I think he was going through his own struggles with getting to know Bob, Robert De Niro, which by the way, it's so funny. Like when we even get to call him Bob, I would never call him Bob to his face, but that's what Ben calls him. And that's what you call him. And anyone who works with him calls him that. But Ben famously tells that story of how nervous he was in that car scene of the Puff the Magic Dragon in the first movie. And he goes, I'm stuck in this car with Robert De Niro. And it's just the two of us. And we're just driving. And then there was no crew. So, and every time they'd yell cut, we'd have this downtime where we'd have to drive back to the starting point and just chit chat. And Ben was like, I didn't ever know what to say. I didn't know what, should I talk? Does he want me to talk? Should I not? So I feel like what you were probably experiencing with him was his own self-emotional terrorism with Bob.
Emotional terrorism. Oh my God. I love that.
By the way, I have to give... That expression is coined by my brother, Brian Taylor, who made it up, and it just makes sense. There's no such thing. I know there's no word for that, but it makes perfect sense. Self-emotional terrorism, right?
So true. Well, but that's one of the, and I totally get that. Oh my God, that anxiety, because like I said, Bob is a quiet person. He's not a big, chit chatter. He's not, what do you call it when you're just kind of BSing, small talk.
Right.
He's not a small talker.
Right.
And so, to sit there and go, so nice weather we're having. His answer is, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake to try and small talk with someone like that. When my film premiered at Tribeca, there was a director's luncheon, and what's her name? Jane Rosenthal came over and said, Robert wants to talk to you about your film because there was an issue in it, and he had a son who had some special needs. So I sat down with him, and it was like
exactly.
It was so hard to make conversation, and then also Blythe Danner played my mother in a movie, and I found her to be very intense.
Really?
And I felt like she didn't. I just didn't connect with her. She was very much about the work.
Yeah.
But I understand what you mean. It's hard to crack.
But again, that's so interesting because Blythe, I felt like of all people was just, and I don't know, maybe it was because I'm playing a daughter as opposed to I'm playing a daughter as opposed to me playing a son, whatever. Kids these days. But, I felt like she was so, I think it was the third one, Little Fockers, where we were, here I'm doing my third movie with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro and Owen Wilson and we'd just done with Barbara Streisand and Dustin Hoffman. I'm like, what is happening? So imagine my surprise when they called, said, we're doing a fourth. I couldn't speak for a minute. My agent thought I had passed out or something.
Oh my God.
I remember being on the set and Bob and I, and we call him Bob. That's how he introduces himself. So you're like, okay. Hey, Bob. Okay. But we're sitting in our set chairs, and he's sitting next to me, and I'm still in that mode of, I'm never going to do this again. So here I go. And I started asking Bob some questions, and I asked him this question, and because I'm trying to start a conversation, but he's like, oh, mm-hmm. Well, I mean, maybe. Those are his answers, and I'm just trying. And at one point, I asked a question. He goes, "You ask a lot of questions, don't you?"
Oh God.
And that's my cue to leave. And I laughed. I laughed.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I'm messing this very precarious position up and messing it up. But there were so many stories of there's just so many stories over the course of the years. Meet the Parents was 25 years ago. 25 stinking years ago. I was 12.
Yes, we all were. The fact that you looked yourself in the mirror before the first one, and to say like, this is it, like this is your chance. You're not going to get this opportunity again. To now, 25 years later, now you're in movie number 4. Like, incredible.
It was absolutely the very, very last thing in this world that I thought would ever happen. And it's a complete and utter, it's not dramatic, it's not exaggerated. It was so out of the blue. I had no clue whatsoever. So when they called me, I absolutely literally did not speak for a good 30 seconds. And they kept saying, Teri, are you there? And I burst into tears. I burst into tears sobbing because it was unbelievable to me, literally unbelievable that we would be doing another one and that I would have this opportunity again. So it's so stinking cool.
You all deserve another movie, and there needs to be more comedies. Like when's the last comedy you saw in a theater? I can't even remember. I mean, Naked Gun, I guess, just came out, but I mean, the world needs another Meet the Parents, I feel like.
Yes. The world needs more comedies and more opportunities, like you said, David, to go to the movie theater, to, it's just, and also it's, just with the casting and with the new characters, it's going to bring in a whole new audience, I think,
That's what I said. Yeah. A whole new generation, a whole new generation, because you've got Ariana Grande, you've got Skylar, and I'm not going to mess up his last name because I still don't know how to pronounce
it. Ariana Grande is in the new movie?
Yes.
Oh my God.
David, have you been living under a rock, babe?
I know.
Maybe.
It was announced.
Oh my God.
We're not, this is not a big scoop here. Yeah. This was announced this was
incredible.
Widely announced.
And I mean, come on, that's a huge crowd right there.
Yeah.
Skylar, again, like just I can't remember.
Yeah,
he's in Superman. He plays Jimmy Olsen.
Yep.
And he's in it. Beanie Feldstein, and it's going to bring in a whole new generation whom are going to go back and watch the first one and watch the whole, series, the whole franchise. And I'm sorry, but the studio and everyone are the genius, because they're looking to release it around Thanksgiving 2026.
Yep.
Which everybody, the whole family comes back, and there's going to be family, and they're going to watch it. And the kids are, that are around in their 20s, are going to fall in love with it, because this theme is absolutely universal. Absolutely universal. And it will always be. It will always be, no matter
love,
sex,
dysfunction,
gender,
in-laws.
In-laws
ridiculing your spouse. Oh my God.
Teri, when the first movie came out, was it a game changer? Like, did it just I always love to hear that. Like, how was it sort of overnight you started getting offered things and you weren't having to audition for things and you had to make bigger decisions about career stuff? Like, was that the trajectory for you at that point?
You want to talk about, we talked about the 90s, is that at that point, it completely changed things for me. And I was getting offers. I was getting, I didn't have to go and audition for certain things. I still did, but they were big things,
Yes.
like I wouldn't audition for the leading lady in this movie or that movie or the other movie.
Oh, so you were getting big auditions. You just weren't getting those jobs, but
I was getting them, but I wasn't getting them.
You were getting
There's
the auditions.
The thing is, I was auditioning for them, but I wasn't getting them. So then, when Meet the Parents happened, I was auditioning and I was getting them in that I got to play Angelina Jolie's sister in Beyond Borders. I played opposite Vince Vaughn and John Travolta in
Domestic Disturbance.
Yes.
I remembered that.
Oh God, yes.
There were
you got
a couple of other things that I ended up getting that that would have been like back in the early 90s that I auditioned for, but I would have never gotten,
Well, it's also like
so
those
funny.
things
I'm brain
that
dead.
it's not brain dead though, but there is the sort of the truth of it is that, a lot of us were getting auditions for those kind of movies where you sort of like deep down knew you didn't stand a chance, but they were still casting a wide net. You're like, there's no version where I'm getting cast in that, but yeah, okay, I'll go in and read for it. It can't hurt, it's that sort of attitude. Yeah. But then really, it was a time where all it took was getting one thing that got high visibility, and Meet the Parents obviously was such a huge success to shift people's perception. I mean, I think that's the key to all of it is like when you're in something that a lot of people see, then there's, sadly in our industry, there's not a lot of like imagination. It's like, we need to see proof that person
so bizarre
can do
in the
it.
land of creativity and imagination. Yeah, it's so bizarre.
Exactly.
But and this is, you're absolutely right. And I remember my agent saying, you just need one, Polo. You just need one. You just need one. Because back then it was, I'm going to be a movie star. And you just need one. And that was kind of the one for me. But then you also kind of come to the realization that you're a commodity. Because if people don't go to see these movies and it's a big movie where they make a lot of money on, then you are not, you won't be cast. If you're in a movie, it's like this circle of, if you're in a movie that makes a lot of money, then people are going to go pay to see you, so they're going to cast you. It was like back in the
it's almost like a stock that goes up and down and up and down.
Yeah, like trying to get into the union when I was a teenager. It was, you can't get into the union unless you do a union picture, a union thing, but you can't do a union thing unless you're in the union. And I go, well, how the hell do I do that?
How do I crack that code? David wanted to switch gears.
Yeah.
he had to fan out a little bit.
No, there's one movie that my wife and I and all my friends were obsessed with, Aspen Extreme.
I know what you're going to say. I knew you were going to say that.
Do you find that it's like a cult,
so
there's a cult audience for that movie?
Yep. It's an absolute cult following because the skiing in it was insane, was absolutely insane. I mean, they took some of those sequences, they took these professional skiers in helicopters and dropped them at the top of mountains and filmed them from the flippin' helicopters. So, I mean, this was the real deal that was going on. It was literally extreme skiing going on. So people who ski, people who are skiers and everything are obsessed with this movie. Yeah, I have had so many people. That's probably like the third or fourth most mentioned movies that I get. If anybody recognizes me, they go, "Oh, Aspen Extreme." That
I feel like I remember it. I'm just not like, I definitely remember it being like 100% a movie I saw, but I'm like not clocking what the storyline was.
And
exactly.
Finola Hughes, right? Was the
Finola
rich?
Hughes.
Yeah.
Peter Berg was in it. He played, I want to say Ruteki.
Yeah, Ruteki, yes.
It's basically about two guys who go to Aspen to, become, because they're really good skiers, to become the ski patrol. And one of them ends up making it and Ruteki doesn't. And the Peter Berg's character ends up getting caught in an avalanche and dying. And Paul Gross played the lead, and Finola Hughes is the socialite, the rich socialite in town in Aspen, and I'm the local DJ, and that was a really hard one for me because I don't know why. I mean, I look back and I watched that movie and I go, I felt very weak and very. I don't know. I look at a lot of my work and go and think that could you have been a little stronger with your voice? Why is your voice like
it was
this
the altitude
when you're acting?
I always feel weak in Aspen. But you filmed in the town of Aspen, right?
Yeah, we did. We took over the town of Aspen for
what a
about 3
dream.
months. And yeah, I was not allowed to ski though, because I think it was like the first weekend we were there. I was very good friends with the makeup artist, and she and I went skiing. And the first thing I did was face plant and scraped my chin.
Oh,
Of course.
So they were like, you are not allowed to go skiing ever again, because I snowplow. I don't ski. And I also, I'm an excellent a hot toddy drinker. At the end of this, you guys have fun. I'll see you at the end of your run. In front of the fire. That's
I'll be by the fire.
By the way, we had Tim Busfield on a few weeks ago, and he brought up the Fosters, and I remember watching it with Ella. I remember how much she loved that show, and I remember feeling like, what a great role for you. Like, what a great series that was.
Yeah.
That it was my kid was the perfect age for that at that time, that I could sit and enjoy watching it with her. It really dealt with such, like, it was so contemporary, dare I say. It was edgy, but also very heartfelt and real. And I just thought, you were terrific on that show. Like, what a great role.
Thank you. I loved that role. That fit me. It was like a second skin. And that was one of the not easiest jobs that I ever had, but one of the most satisfying, because not necessarily because of the acting, but the subject matter and the things that we learned. We all learned so much about so much in that show. And we truly, truly, truly did form a family, and we cared about each other, and a lot of those kids, they grew up with us. They grew up on that set. But the most important thing for me was that it changed people's lives. When you're in a grocery store or you're in IKEA and you have this 6 foot tall transgender woman come up to you crying and saying, "Thank you so much. I'm going to make myself cry. You represented us. My husband and I are going through trying to adopt a child, and we're going through what was it? There was a couple that came up to me, and we're talking about going through artificial insemination because Steph and Lena wanted to have a baby, and they were saying that you represented us, and we would get anyone. I would get anyone from 8-year-old kids to 80-year-old grandmothers and grandfathers coming up to me and saying, "Thank you for this." People who came up to me in tears, shaking, saying, "You saved my life. You changed my life. You allowed me to accept my daughter for who she is, to love her. You helped me understand who I was and be proud of it. You changed my life. You saved my life."
Amazing.
It's just not, it wasn't a job. It was a privilege. It was an honor to be involved on this show, because when you have people coming up to you saying you saved my life, it's not a job anymore. It's a responsibility.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes entertainment creates change. It really affects people personally in their lives, especially LGBTQ families and unconventional families. It was amazing.
Yeah, we were the first, the youngest same-sex kiss on television. And this is so timely too, guys. We were filming Steph and Lena's wedding, waiting for the decision from the Supreme Court, the same exact day that I can't even pronounce that the decision came down from the Supreme Court, making it legal. You could get same-sex marriage was legal, because we had 2 different scenes to shoot that day. And one was the wedding, and one was having to put away all of the wedding things and the reception and all of that stuff, and being sad and being heartbroken because we couldn't get married. It was crazy. It was crazy. And now look where we are. I'm not going to get into this, but now look where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy. You had two versions of it, one if it passed and one if it didn't.
And we were on set when the decision came down, and we all just yelled and screamed and celebrated and started crying, and then went and filmed this wedding scene where we all were literally crying, because not only are these beautiful characters getting married, but we were portraying
living
this.
it, embodying it. Yes, exactly.
Right. And maybe helped it. Maybe shows like yours helped that decision.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
Listen, we've kept you so long, and I know your birdie is wanting your attention. You thank you for staying on with us this long. It was so, first of all, I know I'm going to see you very soon. I'm going to come and visit all the time and, see the fam. And just thank you. Yeah. I can't wait to see you and give you a hug in person. And thanks for doing this. I know how busy, you're in the middle.
Indeed, my pleasure.
And break a leg on Focker-in-law. We can't wait.
Oh, yes.
So funny. What a great name. Yeah, it was my pleasure, you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to wax eloquent or wax not eloquent. I don't know, but to talk and go through memories.
You did it all. It was great.
Thanks, you guys.
Teri.
Thanks,
You're
Teri.
Awesome. You guys really do seem like sisters.
It's
like
so
family.
funny because we have not ever, the way we talked about it was that we really did have a lot of friends in common, and we would see each other socially. And I knew her work too. I always felt like she was such a good actress, really, I was at that time, for me, I was doing so many comedies, and Teri was doing a lot of dramatic work, so I really felt like that really it is part of why I think I was genuinely good with her being cast as in the Meet the Parents movie, because I was like, we are really different, even though we probably have auditioned for a million of the same things. As actors, we're just very different. And what Jay was looking for, and it does make sense when you see the movie, is she is this grounding force around all of the craziness that's going on,
Right.
And it's I can't imagine that movie with anybody else but her in that role. So, but I really like her so much, and she's just always game. Always, it's just so funny to me that she didn't think that Ben liked her, and I think the whole time Ben was just thinking that Robert De Niro didn't like him. So it was the chain reaction.
It was a chain reaction. Oh my god!
What are we The only safe zone for anyone was probably Owen, who was just all right, everybody.
Hey man, yeah, everybody likes me. No, there is a lot of star power on that set, especially the next one. I mean, you bring in Dustin Hoffman and Barbara Streisand. My God.
I know. I know. It just kept growing. I mean, the way she talked about that, it was that story of looking herself in the mirror and saying that you're never going to get this opportunity again. And then it just only got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now, 25 years later.
But it's that first few days is everything, right? But I love that, looking herself in the mirror and saying, you're going to leave all your insecurity. You're going to be the best version of yourself and all this stuff. I think that's amazing. I feel like
she was so ahead of her time with that too. I think that now we all talk about that now, about affirmations and writing.
Yeah, someone told me to high five myself in the mirror every morning. I'm
post-it notes on the mirror saying you're beautiful, you're perfect just the way you are, things like that. That's a very 20,
it's a real thing now, yeah.
But back in 1999, I feel like she was really, she was on to something. Let's put it that way.
She's amazing.
Really, really great. And
thanks for listening, everybody. You can follow us at Hey Dude, the 90s Called. Watch us on YouTube. And please subscribe to our podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. And please feel free to share these episodes with friends. We will see you next week.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Yay Media Group.